These are the 7 easiest ways to get guns in Rust without the tech tree. Around once an hour, a cargo plane will spawn and drop supplies. This supply drop has a 100% chance to have at least 2 pieces of clothing and 2 guns inside of it. Gas stations and supermarkets are scattered around the map, and they have a chance to spawn multiple military crates. Once you've got a base down, find any gas stations or supermarkets near you and get a bag down somewhere near it. That way, when it's nighttime, you can spawn in the bag, check to see if there's any military crates, grab a green card or some food if you need it, and then run back to your base in the safety of the nighttime. Military crates have a 1% chance to drop a Python or a semi-automatic pistol, as well as a 0.5% chance to drop a pump shotgun, Thompson, custom SMG, or semi-automatic rifle. I know that this sounds like a pretty low % chance to get a weapon, but this strategy is meant to be used in combination with the rest of the ones in this video because you'll also get green cards and food and components out of it. And if all of these are looted around your area, you can also get a bag down by water treatment. Water treatment is one of my favorite monuments in the game because it doesn't have a whole lot of radiation and there is a ton of loot inside of it. I try to place my bag on the side with the water tower so that I can run and do the jump puzzle. There's a chance for military crates to spawn on the top as well as the bottom, and then on the bottom it also spawns food and medical supplies. The center building has a chance for military crates to spawn, and if you climb up the backside, you can jump onto the roof to see if the crates are even in there or to make sure that nobody's door camping it. And then off to the side, there's this area where 2 more military crates have a chance to spawn. And if you do this a few times and get lucky enough to find a weapon, you'll also have enough scrap from recycling components to research it right away. By far, the easiest way to obtain a gun in Rust is to buy it from a player's shop on the map. This is something that takes a little bit of time depending on when the server has recently wiped, but most experienced PvPers will eventually set up a shop to sell guns for scrap or sulfur ore. And a majority of the time, the prices are pretty reasonable. You just spawn in, get a pickaxe or a jackhammer from Outpost, or a stone pickaxe if you're struggling, hit a couple sulfur nodes, hit a couple barrels, and boom, you've got a gun. And then sometimes they'll have ammo and sometimes they won't, so the best thing to try to do is to stash it until you're ready to research the weapon or until you've learned ammo to craft for it. If you're struggling to even get a base down on a server that's just recently wiped, for example, because everybody's in the same location absorbing all of the resources in that area, then something you can try to do is make your way over to Bandit Camp or the Combined Outpost and find the Lumberjack to do the missions he has for you. Now, it might not be a gun, but it is a weapon. You find some vodka for him, he gives you a hatchet to farm some wood, and now you got a crossbow and a hatchet, and then you can hit another tree to get a legacy shelter down, which can be super helpful on higher pop servers where all the resources are depleted, so you can get a base down to start focusing on getting a gun. Alternatively, if you've managed to get a base down but are having a really hard time getting a weapon, you can head over to a fishing village, talk to this guy to get a fishing pole and some bait, catch a couple of fish with the bait, and you'll notice that these salmon and trout that you catch have a bait value of 10. And if you have a bait value of 10, you'll be able to catch small sharks. Catch a couple of those, you'll have some scrap. Now you can buy a full scuba gear set, go over to the Dive Master, and do the mission that'll give you a pump shotgun. All you have to do for this is untie 10 crates by these ships, but be careful because some of them have sharks, and the sharks are pretty hard to kill without spear guns. Then you can head back over to the Dive Master, and boom, you got a gun. If you're ever at the Outpost or Combined Outpost and have enough scrap, there is a double barrel and a revolver in this shop. At first, it seems like this is a bit overpriced, but if you think about it, it costs a lot less scrap than if you were to tech tree to it. But then again, the revolver kind of blows and the double barrel is a situational thing. So another option that you have is the Bandit Camp weapon shop. And here you can find the M92 pistol. And the reason I suggest this over the LR, for example, is because it comes with pistol bullets, and you can learn that in the research table and then craft it with the tier 1 that's inside of the Bandit Camp or Combined Outpost. So sometimes what I'll do at the very beginning of a wipe is I'll spawn on the beach, run to a road, try to get some cloth along the way to get a bag down, and then I'll just loot the road on the way to the outpost and recycle everything. And if I don't have 250 scrap plus 75 scrap plus a little bit extra so that I can buy smokes or grenades to recycle for GP to craft the pistol bullets, I'll stash it away somewhere and then go back and farm a different road until I've got enough to buy and learn everything I need. And then after I get the M92, I'll try to kill like a pig or a bear or something so that I can make myself a gear set. And then I'll head back towards the main spawn area where everybody's been focused on building a base instead of getting a weapon, and they most likely have spears and bows. And this way, I'll have a pretty high chance of not losing the M92 since it's not researchable because it's a military grade weapon. This next strategy is probably the #1 most popular way that people get guns without the tech tree or running card puzzles. And that's by killing the scientists in the military tunnels. They have a 3% chance to drop 1 to 2 MP5s at 100% condition. And if you manage to make it in far enough, there is a shipping container with 3 elite crates that have a very high chance of giving you a good gun. There's also a cave off to the side where nodes spawn that you can farm, as well as a chance for 1 to 2 military crates to spawn. Keep in mind that this is extremely popular and groups will swarm to this, especially on wipe day, because you can not only get guns out of it, but also boom and tier 3 things to research from the elite crates, as well as a place to recycle on the outside that's pretty easy to protect. If you've made it this far into the video, then you deserve to know about this strategy that not a lot of people really think about or consider, especially smaller groups. The junkyard, water treatment, and the power plant don't really require rad protection to obtain the diesel barrels that spawn there. So depending on where your base is at and how these 3 monuments are positioned on the map, you could place a bag down at each of them and then have a central location that you run to with a vending machine. And if you're lucky, every time that you run these monuments, you'll come out with 9 diesel, 3 from each monument. And if you're unsure what to set the prices at in your vending machine, you can just ask around and chat, because I'm sure there's a group that really wants to buy your diesel. And as long as you set your prices correctly, you can basically get anything that you want, because these larger groups are lazy and they don't want to farm. So they want the diesel to run the pump jack and to run giant excavator. And then another level that you can add to this is if your shop is near these 3 monuments on the other side of the map from where your main base is at, you can spawn in those bags, get the diesel, put it in your shop, and then go back and do other things on the other side of the map in your main base and obtain diesel from running card puzzles or what have you, like doing the military tunnels to get diesel from in there. And then when you go to pick up the weapons from your shop, you can drop off more diesel. And one of the safest ways to make long journeys across the map is either by going in the tunnels underground on a train, or by using some sort of above ground transportation during the nighttime. And then there's one more layer to the diesel onion to squeeze some more juice out of it. And that is for every 6 diesel that you run in the pump jack, you'll gain an extra diesel's worth of low grade. And the way that this works, if you don't know about it, is you can buy 1 diesel for 300 low grade at the outpost. So basically you take 6 diesel to the pump jack, run it for around 12 minutes, and you'll get 170 low grade per barrel, as well as 60 crude oil per barrel. And then after smelting the crude oil, which you could do at Outpost if you don't have an oil refinery, you'll end up with 350 low grade. So 50 times 6 is going to end up being an extra 300 low grade that'll allow you to buy 7 barrels of diesel from the Outpost. The only time that I'll ever actually do this, since it takes so much time, is when I need low grade for myself and I don't have another way of getting it. This is going to be especially useful in the future now that the tech tree has been nerfed, because we've all had those wipes where we're doing really good, right? And you have everything you need besides the AK, or besides like a metal face mask, or you really need a rocket launcher, but you don't want to spend 1,000 scrap on it. You can just spawn in a random bag, grab 3 diesel, and then boom, throw it in a shop, and maybe somebody will give you an AK. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you learned something new. If you haven't seen the rest of my tutorials and guides playlist, it's on screen right now, as well as a link in the description. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, leave a dislike if you didn't, and I'll catch you in the next one.